All right, welcome back. Today's going to be a puzzle day. Let me see where we are with puzzles. Currently at 8:11. Only 31 attempts. I've missed one. And I think in this episode we'll see if we can get relatively easily to 1,000. Interested to see what the skill level will be. Maybe some more checkmates in 3 or 4 moves, or less checkmates and maybe just more gaining the initiative or coming up with a material advantage. So without further ado, more checkmates in 1. So you can see here that the knight supports this f7 square for the queen to deliver this checkmate. For this next one, is there a check that I can deliver? And in this case, yes, it's again checkmate in 1. This is a fun mate called a smothered mate, where basically the opponent's pieces are all smothering the king. There is no place for the king to go. The difficult part of this puzzle is the first instinct that you have is, oh, I'm under attack. This bishop is under attack by this pawn. It's trying to convince you to move this bishop, in which if you did, this c5 square would in fact trap the bishop. So usually you want to start with a check. The progression goes checks, captures, attacks. Can you check your opponent? Can you attack your opponent? Or can you capture your opponent's piece? And lastly, can you attack if you can't do any of the previous two? All right, let's start with checks. I do have one here. I also have one here. Make sure that those squares are not already occupied. If I move here, the king does have the g1 square to move to. Here's where they get a little bit trickier, in my opinion. I kind of like this move, but that would hang the queen. So this is kind of the... Oh, you know what? I think this is not... Yeah, I think we're sacrificing the knight in this case. And let me show you on the analysis tool. I moved the knight to put the king in check. The king is required to move. The pawn cannot take because of the pin. King must move. And this is actually mate. The funny thing I was looking at was taking here, which is still overwhelmingly winning after this sequence of moves, but you did have a better sequence because this leads to a mate. Okay, white to move. This is going to be a mate in 1 because this second knight supports or is attacking this g8 square. Okay, starting with checks. So I've got this check here on c7. And if I deliver that as a check, I'm pretty sure that is the starting move. If there's not an immediate move that I should consider, I think the puzzle here is to simply take the free knight. So I forked the king and the knight. You always look for better, is the saying. You do look for the checkmate or the forced checkmate. But if it's not there, like it was in this case, then you look to capture the piece, kind of that checks, captures, attacks progression. Up to 875. Okay. So starting with checks, I see one here. Do you see this rook on a7? That allows me to apply a check here, which also allows me to take this rook, which is checkmate in 1. Okay, unless I'm missing something, I think this is a checkmate in 1 as well. Moving the queen to a4. Let me see if there, no, that's just exceeded the 900 barrier. Let's keep moving. I think this one's going to be pretty straightforward. You see the rook. He's supporting the queen, putting the king in check, so this queen is forced to capture, in which I can apply checkmate in the next move. Okay. So I'm white in this puzzle. And the first thing I notice is I'm being forked in this situation. So both my knight and my rook are under attack. The thing that I'm looking at, sometimes you have the ability, actually my knight isn't truly under attack, my rook is attacking it, or is supporting it. However, this knight here moves here, and where does this king go? King cannot come to the second rank because my king is here. Cannot come to g2 because my rook protects this entire g file. Can't go up the board, so that's simply mate. All right, so black to move. I cannot move this pawn. And in fact, I'm in trouble because if I make a nothing move, such as moving the a pawn up, they simply capture, and that's going to be game over. So I know that I need to make a check. This is the move, because they don't show it here. If I move, they can technically move this king, but if they do, that's going to be mate. So sometimes you do have to look at what happens if I don't make an immediate threat. It's just going to be checkmate, where I'm going to be checkmated. And sometimes that can be the context clue for what you should be doing. Or am I trying to win the game on the spot, or am I simply trying to come up with a material advantage to eventually win the game? All right, so this pawn defends g7. If I move this queen to h5, that creates a checkmate in 2. This is going to be a fork. So show that one more time. The queen and I can't draw arrows on the app, but both the queen and the bishop are looking at this knight. King is now in check. There's a couple moves that white is able to do for the sake of the puzzle. They have me take here. Again, I'm forking the king and the rook. They do play the correct move, but in this case, I win a piece here. We go up a material advantage. White to move. Love a pawn mate. And let me see if this is all forcing. Now, if I were to take with the queen, they have this, and look, black is now winning the game. So the only move that you can possibly make is to take with the pawn. Preserves this square here for the pawn, which is protected by the queen. And the king has no places to go. All right. This one's interesting looking. So my first, oh, okay. This is another smothered mate, which takes us to 1,000. Just to show you that one. King has no squares. King is completely surrounded by its own pieces. So simply putting the black king in check without the piece that's putting the piece in check is not able to be captured in this case. So that is automatic checkmate. So maybe I'm warmed up now. Let me see where I am kind of in the grand scheme of puzzles. If I go to puzzles here, I've moved up to the 50th percentile on chess.com. I've now entered the top 4.5 million with my 11 minutes of training. So I'm going to pivot over to a puzzle battle, make this kind of a dual post. These are pretty intense where there's a clock and then you can't mess up more than 3 times. So I do need to be accurate here. And I forget whether it's 2 or 3 minutes, but let's see if we can be accurate and quick at the same time. 3 minutes. This first one's going to be a checkmate in 1. Checkmate in 1. Checkmate 2. Very common sequences so far. Just don't blunder that queen. That's what happened last time. I'm slightly faster than my opponent. You seem to know what's going on now. Is that checkmate? Black to move. Dog is barking. This is going to be fork. Check. I don't immediately know what this is going to be, but it needs to be a check because this is checkmate in 1. Like that. I don't immediately know what this one's going to be. Is it a fork? There. Nope. Sometimes it's better just to take the loss. This is going to be a fork. Perhaps. Threatening this. Losing. I might miss this one as well. Did get this one right. Oh, yes. Okay. I did win, but I want to win outright. I think. Oh, I didn't. So I have a choice to make. I think I do know what the puzzle here is, but I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I absolutely get this. Oh, I knew what it was too. So I did win because I didn't miss that one, but I was too slow to win it outright. Should have been check, check, and then I fork the rook and the king. So I win because I didn't get all 3 strikes, but I only won by default. We tied, but I did technically win because of the more accuracy. Let's go back and solve the 2 that I missed. I think my attempt was this, which was incorrect. And usually it's not. Usually that's the first thing you can rule out is a simple capture. So I need to be looking for more in this case. Is there a way for me to get at the king? Is there a way for me to get at the queen? And in this case, I probably missed this. Was not even paying attention to that side of the board. And this one here, I thought it would have been, oh, I see now. We want to put the king in double check, which is immediate checkmate. This is one of those, it's trying to distract you with, oh, I'm going to win this shiny rook. However, you can see that I'm down tons of material here. And so that's not enough to win the game. Again, for chess puzzles, you want to look for that automatic knockout where this is checkmate. So whenever you're doing chess puzzles, start with, can I KO this guy in 1 move or 2 moves or 3 moves? And then when that's not there, that's when you go down and say, okay, can I capture something? Can I gain a material advantage? Or can I get out of potentially some danger? All right, well, that's going to do it for us today. We're now 1,000 rated for Puzzle Battle and then over 1,000 rated for puzzles in general. So we'll continue this puzzle series next time, and thanks for watching. Take care.